Welcome back to another one, guys. I'm Will and this is Will Weekly. On this episode, we talking Spider-Man. That's right, little by little, we're starting to know more about the sequel to Spider-Man Homecoming. So we're going to start talking about what we know about the sequel so far. So the name of the sequel is Spider-Man Far From Home. I like it. It tells you a lot about what this movie could be like. And also it has the same director, which I also like because sometimes they switch directors in the middle of a trilogy and it kind of affects the whole trilogy. Kind of like what they did with Star Wars, The Last Jedi. They switched directors. A lot of fans weren't happy. But with this one, Marvel is doing a smart thing. They're keeping the same director. So also we know that this movie is going to take place some partially, or maybe a lot of it is going to take place in Europe. And they're starting to film in the UK. That's when they started filming recently. Tom Holland has been there, already started filming some scenes for Far From Home. And from what I know, they're also going to film in other parts of Europe. Also, one side note is that Tom Hardy is also supposed to be stopping by the set this week, and it makes you wonder why, because we all know Tom Hardy is going to be starring in the movie Venom, which the trailer looks amazing. We know that Venom is one of Spider-Man's greatest villains, so the fact that he's going to be stopping by set, who knows if he just wants to see what's going on, or who knows if he's actually part of the movie. So that's an interesting fact right there. It's rumors, it's not 100% confirmed, but the rumors out there is that Tom Hardy will be stopping by the Far From Home set. But Venom is not the main villain. We know from the IMDb page that the main villain is Mysterio. And he is rumored to be played by Jake Gyllenhaal. Even though they started filming already, it hasn't been fully confirmed that Jake Gyllenhaal will be playing the character Mysterio. We also know that Michael Keaton is going to be back playing the Vulture. In the last movie, he ended up in jail, but who knows? He could always break out, right? So there might be two villains. I hope there's not too much going on in this movie. I like when they stick with one villain. I don't want it to be like Spider-Man 3, where it was a disaster with all these villains, and Venom barely got to showcase what he's all about. Okay, so Vulture's going to be in this one, but the main villain, I'm pretty sure, is going to be Mysterio. Now let's talk about Mysterio. If you don't know about Mysterio, I always thought he was an underrated villain. I think he's super cool, and I think visually he is going to translate well into a movie. And I'm really surprised they haven't used this villain in a movie before, because he's different, he's original. Just the way the movie Doctor Strange was like beautiful to watch, and it was really interesting and psychedelic, and there was all these colors and illusions and magic. I feel that that could be very similar to what you might see from Mysterio, because he's a master illusionist, he's a magician, and also he has a special suit that allows him to jump higher, have different abilities, and releases different toxins and gases and smoke screens, so it's hard for Spider-Man to see what he's doing. And he also has a special gas that paralyzes Spider-Man for an extended period of time, and also disables his spider senses, so it leaves Spider-Man very vulnerable. And he's also had the ability of hypnotizing Spider-Man and making him see illusions, and almost like he's tripped out, almost like he's on drugs or something like that. So I think he could be a very worthy adversary to Spider-Man. I'm really curious to see this in a film. I'm really curious to see this character for the first time in a movie. Like I said, I'm really surprised Marvel hasn't used this character before, and I think Jake Gyllenhaal will be a great person to cast for this role. I think he really fits this role, and especially seeing him in this movie Night Stalker, was it Night Stalker, where he almost played like a crazed journalist, and he kind of showed this villainous side to him. And since I've seen him in playing that type of role, almost villainous in a way, I could see that translating very well into the character of Mysterio. I think it's interesting that a lot of the movie takes place in Europe. It's something different. We haven't seen that before from Spider-Man. He's always been in Queens, New York. So seeing him in a different setting, in a different city, will be interesting to see him swinging around maybe the UK or France, maybe swinging around the Eiffel Tower. I think that would be really cool. What he's doing in Europe, who knows? Maybe he takes a Euro trip with his friends during the summer. Now remember, he got killed off in Infinity War. How he comes back, who knows? But maybe when he comes back, he realizes, holy crap, I almost died and I haven't seen the world. So maybe that motivates him to go travel across Europe and see the world. All right, so that's pretty much all we know so far. I'm very interested in this movie. I can't wait to see the first footage of this film. They're still shooting. It's going to take a long time before we actually see some footage. So I'm guessing this film is coming out at the end of 2019 summer, which makes sense because Infinity Wars Part 2 is probably going to come out around April or May, and that's when they're going to show Spider-Man coming back from the dead. Well, that's all I know so far from this film. If I have more information, I'll let you guys know. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next episode. Peace out.